Dysfunctional administration is still infuriating most patients.
A quarter of drivers affected by bright headlights have reduced their nighttime driving.
For 20 minutes, one way to hit our weekly exercise target. You like a little boogie, Dawn, don't you?
I think the way I dance, no one needs to see that. I'd better on a bike, believe me.
Can I tell you, I'd seen her dancing because I saw her
Oh, God,
from afar at the
yeah.
concert. That wasn't the way I danced to ABBA, Dawn, has to be said.
No, you had your sequins and your flares on. You look very dashing, it has to be said.
Now, we'd like to hear what you think. And if you dance in the kitchen, because that is the idea, dance to the kitchen 20 minutes once a week, good for your keep fit. Send us your films, send us your videos, send us your texts, your emails, your messages. You post your comments by visiting
gbnews.com/your say. But first, it's time for
Dawn. Thank you. Very good morning. It's just gone 9:30. Here are your latest headlines. Our top story, Keir Starmer says he's ready and willing to put British troops into Ukraine if a peace deal is reached. This comes ahead of the emergency meeting of European leaders in Paris today to discuss the current situation in Ukraine. The Prime Minister said the UK was ready to play a leading role in Ukraine's defence by committing £3 billion a year until 2030. GB News spoke to Health Secretary Wes Streeting this morning about the government's plan.
So as we work together with our friends in America and across Europe, and crucially President Zelensky and the Ukrainians themselves, it's really important that we are preparing for a scenario in which a peace deal has been agreed, and we are working with our allies to secure that peace and deter any future Russian aggression.
Alicia Cairns thinks Starmer's announcement is premature, reiterating the war is still ongoing.
He should be focused on, however, is that defence spending point that you are making. If he is saying that once we get to a deal, and I should make clear that a cessation of hostilities is not the kind of deal we need. We need a deal that ensures Europe is safe from this imperialist terrorist state that we see from Russia. But that means investment in defence spending, so you're absolutely right to say that that should be the heart of the discussion today.
Between the US and Russia, with the aim of finding a solution to the war in Ukraine. The US's top diplomat Marco Rubio has arrived in Saudi Arabia this morning, but it remains unclear if Ukraine will take part in these talks. Has revealed an additional 2 million appointments were delivered during Sir Keir Starmer's first 5 months in power. Much to the government's relief, this means they've already met one of the key election pledges. The government says the NHS is on the road to recovery by meeting this goal, and the figures showing NHS waiting lists continued to fall in December for the 4th month in a row. He knows the job isn't done and has promised further reforms to deliver faster treatment. Years at the Bafta Film Awards last night, British playwright and author Peter Strauen picked up Best Adapted Screenplay for the tense religious drama Conclave. The film also delivered the UK 3 further Baftas for Best Film, Outstanding British Film and Best Editing. The team behind Wallace and Gromit also picked up 2 gongs, with the return of Feathers McGraw clearly being a crowd pleaser. Warwick Davies, who's best known for his roles in Willow and the Harry Potter movies, won the highest honour of the night, a BAFTA Film Fellowship. Davis dedicated the award to his late wife with an emotional tribute.
I'd like to dedicate and thank my wonderful wife, Sammy, who died almost a year ago. Life has been pretty tough for me, but thanks to the support of our wonderful children, Annabelle and Harrison, I've been able to continue working and engaging in life. Special mention too should go to Sponge. You know who you are. Thank you for showing me that life can still have meaning, and for helping me to laugh and to love again.
Start with making sure that kids aren't hungry.
Yeah.
And make sure that people have enough to live on. There is a cost of living crisis. Middle class people are struggling. People up and down the country are struggling. But people who are on the poverty line and living in poverty in particular are struggling so much that they are now homeless and hungry.
I think it's rather sad that all Tories are branded as being rich. As somebody who came to this country at the age of 5 and couldn't speak a word of English and went to a primary school in inner city Birmingham and throughout has had his education in the state sector and a Redbrook University, and through sheer hard work got to where I am. I think perhaps we need to reappraise that there are poor people and not so poor people in all parties.
I didn't say you were rich. You're on 85 grand a year, and you're putting people in UC on £85 a week, but you're misrepresenting what I said.
My eyes falling. You sick, Alexander? Derek, Chisora. Where's Kelly
Borrowing you for about a couple of minutes.
Go on,
Okay.
mate. Go on.
Right. A few things. How are you feeling? Stupid question, though.
feeling a bit tired. Get in my shoes up.
Do you feel any dizziness?
Nothing.
Any headaches? Do you feel sick at all? Any double vision?
No, hardly.
Did you go? Right. I'm going to shine light into your eyes very quickly. Myra.
British citizen, and this makes today a very special occasion for celebration. The citizenship ceremony is a rite of passage that formally welcomes those who wish to join us into full membership of the British family and into the citizenship of the United Kingdom, a state built on a union of nations' beliefs and common civic values. We are here today to extend this welcome to you and to confer the honour of citizenship upon you. To be a British citizen means that you should show tolerance and respect for others and accept the fundamental values associated with British citizenship. I'm going to ask you shortly to repeat the oath that you'll be a faithful citizen, but we'll also ask you to make a formal and public pledge that you'll be a loyal subject and observe the laws of this country. The taking of the oath and pledge are at the heart of the ceremony, and it is a legal requirement that these are made. This ceremony is an opportunity to... Today is the...
The speech, she actually paid tribute to her trans nephew and said that she was doing the film for him, which was a really nice touch. And actually, Zoe Saldana is the real high point of Emilia Perez. Of course, this is a film that has been completely dogged by controversy all the way through award season, from Jacques Audiard's comments about the Spanish language to then Carla Sofia Gascon's let's just say offensive tweets that have resurfaced from a few years back. So Emilia Perez has kind of been seen recently as a bit of a toxic brand. Zoe Saldana very much proving that despite all of that, she still has the momentum going into the Oscars.
Bethany last night, The Brutalist was probably favourite to win the most awards or the biggest awards?
It's a tough year, to be honest. It's been a hard one for everyone to call, but it's definitely up there among the top runners. And actually, Brutalist and Conclave came out pretty much neck and neck. Conclave slightly taking it because it took Best Film, which is traditionally the biggest prize. But yes, really in the Best Actor award. Well, not a surprise, but maybe many expected Ralph Fiennes to take the prize. It is the Baftas after all, but no, Adrian Brody took it, and he too was full of praise for the British people and the British creative industry.
I was brave enough to step back on the stage here and lived here for a while in London, and so this is incredibly meaningful, as England has felt quite a bit like home lately.
So Bethany, talk us through what other ones The Brutalist got. It got 4 in total. I mean, Best Actor's obviously a huge gong.
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
Big deal. It got Best Director as well. That's Brady Corbet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 3.5-hour epic film plus a 15-minute interval. A lot of people have heard a lot about the length of it. Really good film, very moving. Brady Corbet gave a very moving speech and actually kind of summed up awards ceremonies in general and said there's no such thing as Best Director, and really he felt that applied to all the categories. They're awards, aren't they? It's a competition. Actually, all the films are really great. But yeah, so it took Best Director. Adrian Brody took Best Leading Actor. It also took Cinematography and Original Score. It's paving the way well for the Oscars coming up in a couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, interesting on that topic, Josh. Were we expecting Conclave to get Best Film because of the sort of extra British vote, or could Conclave get the Oscar now?
I mean, I do doubt that Conclave will get the Oscar, just because, you know, we have Peter Strawn, who was the screenwriter for that, and Ralph Fiennes, a British acting royalty. So it's not surprising that Conclave really got the recognition that it got last night at the Baftas. However, I did think as we were going through the ceremony, I was thinking Brady Corbet director, cinematography, original score, then Adrian Brody got actor. I was thinking, I think The Brutalist might have the edge here. But then saying that, when we're looking towards the Oscars, we cannot forget Anora. Mikey Madison last night, a surprise win, really the main shock of the night, actually.
She elbowed Demi Moore out of the pitch.
Completely elbowed her out of the race. Complete shock of the night was Mikey Madison winning leading actress. But we cannot forget the sweep that it's had. Directors Guild Award, Writers Guild Award, Producers Guild Award. Anora has had a complete sweep in Hollywood with the Critics' Choice recently as well. So we're waiting to see the Screen Actors Guild Awards coming up.
Yes,
We're waiting a few weeks' time. We're waiting for those results. But that's the thing. Anora, it's building momentum. Mikey Madison has been doing a huge push in the UK recently on the talk shows, on the radio shows. So she's been in voters' faces. She's gaining momentum. So really, in between with Demi Moore and Fernando Torres, we're looking at a very interesting
sometimes the
leading
Baftas
actress
call
race.
it almost 100%. Last year, other than one prize, they pretty much called the Oscars.
But that is because of
the year
Oppenheimer.
before not. Yes,
Oppenheimer was just sweeping everything, wasn't it?
The year before it did not.
You're right.
Josh and Bethany, I would love to keep chatting about this as well as some of the sort of behind-the-scenes stories, but annoyingly, we are out of time because there is some breaking news that we have to get to. But thank you both very much for that breakdown of all of the key news from the Baftas last night. Now, back to our top story of the day, and need to bring in our Moscow correspondent, Ivor Bennett, for this breaking news. Ivor, we've been waiting to hear exactly who's going to Riyadh to meet Marco Rubio. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we've just finally got confirmation from the Russian side that these talks are taking place in Riyadh tomorrow, that Russian and US officials will be meeting each other as the start of these negotiations. And we've also now we've got a cast list from the Russian side. Their delegation will be led by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Presidential aide Yuri Ushakov. And this is a very senior delegation indeed, clearly, who will be meeting Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Middle East envoy for the US, Steve Witkoff, and the White House National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. So clearly Moscow is taking this very seriously indeed. It's the first high-level, in-person contact between US and Russian officials in years, since, I think, November 2021, so before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So it's a very significant moment indeed, and these talks all serve as a precursor, of course, for what is expected to be the main event, the in-person meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. We don't yet know when that will be. We're led to believe it will also be happening in the Saudi capital at some point, perhaps in a matter of weeks, perhaps before the end of February. I mean, clearly, judging by the developments of the last 6 days since Donald Trump confirmed his telephone call with Vladimir Putin, things are moving extremely rapidly. The question is, where does all this leave Ukraine? Kiev is extremely concerned about being sidelined by these talks as Moscow and Washington get together. Last week, Donald Trump said that Ukraine would be at these talks in Saudi Arabia, but that's clearly not the case. Volodymyr Zelensky, he is in the region, but he's in the United Arab Emirates, and he says he has no plans to meet with Russian or US officials in Saudi. Clearly, but he wants to ensure that he is on the same page as the US and Europe before speaking with Russia. Now, Marco Rubio, you see here on his arrival in Riyadh this morning, he has sought to play down the significance of these talks and the concerns about that Ukraine has. According to him, these aren't the real negotiations, more a test of how serious Vladimir Putin is about wanting to make peace. But I think Ukraine will foresee these otherwise. I think they will see these talks as a test of how serious the US is about being an honest broker in these peace negotiations.
Composition of the liquid has changed. It doesn't have any properties of water left. और मैं यमुना
का स्टार्ट करने से तो जब लोग जाते ही नहीं हैं।
पैसा तो पीवेगा तो ठीक है, पर पैसा खराब हुआ है। तकलीफ सही तो वाटर क्राइम।
An extra £350 million to boost affordable housing. Ministers say this would fund up to 2,800 affordable homes, half of which would be for social rent. But this is just a fraction of the 1.3 million households currently stuck on wait lists for social housing across England. So, just how bad is this crisis?
It's definitely a lot less than what is actually needed, that's for sure. I mean, actually, it shows the level of mess that we're in, that this is the biggest commitment to social housing that I've heard for many years.
That was the charity Shelter, who say to clear that 1.3 million backlog, at least 90,000 social rent homes need to be built every year for the next 10 years. But last year, that number failed to reach 20,000, leading to an average wait time of 3 years. Estimates suggest it would take 21 years to clear England's current wait list, and that's if no one else is added to the current total. Sales and demolitions surpassed the number of homes built. Last year, 650 such homes were lost. In an attempt to keep more social housing from falling into the private market, discounts under Thatcher's Right to Buy scheme have been slashed. So why aren't more affordable homes already being built? Well, local authorities are trying to drive up the numbers using something called a Section 106. These force developers to meet a certain quota of affordable housing in order to have their plans approved. But there is no legal requirement to buy them once they're built, and many housing associations simply can't afford them. With a growing spotlight on social housing conditions, housing associations are redirecting their money to fixing pre-existing issues such as damp and mould. Also, an estimated £3.8 billion is being spent nationally on fixing unsafe cladding, a welcome fallout from Grenfell. But there are other issues at play. According to the most recent data, there are nearly 70,000 council and affordable homes sitting empty. This is increased by more than 50% over 5 years, according to government data. It shows that every region in England except the North West has seen a big increase in vacant council homes. In the South East, that number has jumped by 120%. The reason? Many of these homes are dilapidated and the councils simply don't have the money to renovate them. Councils have warned of bankruptcy unless more social homes are built due to money they're spending on temporary housing for people on waiting lists.
The cost of that on local authorities is significant, as well as the impact on children's life chances. So we need to build the homes, and we're doing everything we can to turn the tide of decline and build the houses that people desperately need.
The government has announced 250 additional council homes to deal with the temporary accommodation crisis. But there are currently more than 123,000 households in temporary accommodation, and these include nearly 160,000 children. This cost local authorities £2.1 billion last year. So what's being done? With estimates, the social housing waiting list could reach 2 million within the next 10 years. These solutions simply do not go far enough.
It's nowhere near what we need. So what I'm hoping is that it's a sign that in the spending review, we will start to see those words of Angela Rayner's actually coming to fruition.
Speaks out against anti-Semitism. You speak out in favour of moderate Islam as opposed to extremist Islam. What's your analysis of the state of affairs in Britain? Because we've got the Labour government right now considering defining Islamophobia in a way that some say might open the back door to blasphemy laws.
I think you have more. Well, thank you for having me. And I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Really?
At this stage, absolutely. The things that some of the Islamists say in various mosques, and we have been seeing that online, the terminology they use, the analysis they make, the statements they actually make. They would not be able to say it all the way in Afghanistan, for example, or in Iraq.
So how has this been allowed to flourish in the UK? What's your analysis?
In the name of democracy. So the Muslim Brotherhood, who are the Islamists, who are the main ones, are ruling and controlling in various press when it comes to the Muslim society and community in the UK. They control the whole narrative, and the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamists are the radical Islamists. They're the Islamists, and they use the freedom of speech.
The fact that certain ministers in this country and in Europe want to keep this war going. They don't seem to want it to stop, do they?
Well, what's so mad is there's so many different positions, there's so many contradictions, and there's so much hypocrisy here. So I remember at the outbreak of the invasion, people saying, oh, we've got to build a golden bridge for Putin.
Right.
Oh, if you go after him like a cornered rat, he's going to lash back out.
Right.
And so Trump's going, okay, I'm going to go and speak to him. We've got to solve this thing once and for all. You can't do that. When Macron went and sat at the massive white table in the Kremlin, he was a hero.
Right.
If this was Biden or someone else, they'd be a hero.
Yeah, of course.
I think part of this is Trump derangement syndrome.
It is. A big
Then, of
part
course, the Europeans are sort of saying, right, we've got to carry on carrying on, but the Germans are still not giving their long-range missiles to Ukraine.
No.
The sanctions have been really slow because countries, especially like Germany, have been so intertwined with the Ukrainian economy. Then in all of this, you've got conversations happening about a potential deal, of which we know no detail. People in the commentators are talking
handmade and culturally inspired pieces that you can get to your personal and special person for Valentine. You start this.
Alright, so Yajas came about roughly 3 years ago officially, and I started because I realized from very early that I love creating, and since then I've just been creating.
When you say officially, you used to do a little thing on the side quietly before that?
Yes, I did.
And what made you think that this is what I want to do? Why you never go make shirt or something like that? What made you think that this is the thing I want to do?
I don't know. You know, when you have a calling for something, it just kind of bites at you. I think that was what happened with jewelry. I really just like creating. I love jewelry, and I like the fact that, you know, if I want to go out, I can just fix up a little thing for myself and create something.
But this is not just jewelry. This is beautifully made and designed and stuff. So where the ideas came from?
So, for the most part, the ideas came about from me, but I have to give props to my customers, because sometimes when they do custom orders, that's kind of what inspired me. And also, you know, the internet is there, you see some inspirations from there, you pick from it and you add and you subtract. So, it's really just a bunch of things, a bunch of creativity coming in place.
3 years and still going strong. Does that mean that you've been getting good support from your customers? People been reaching out and buying stuff?
I've been getting support. So we're located in we're located in several stores in Kingston, and so far we've been doing really good. So yes, in terms of our in-store items, they've been doing well so far. So stores that sell on our behalf.
Okay, all right. So what we have here? Earrings, rings.
Yes, so we have our earrings here. We have some neck pieces as well. We have anklets. We have the Jamaica outline. We have rings, a variety of rings. We have neck pieces. We have hand pieces. We literally have anything. You name it, we create it.
And it don't look like you have anything just very ordinary and only like my ring. Everything kind of looks bossy and stuff. Material. What is this? Gold, stainless steel, silver?
So we try to use the best materials possible at a cost effective, you know. So in terms of the materials, we use stainless steel, we use brass, we use copper. We just try to make them as durable as possible so that customers are pleased.
Is there a best one in all of that? Stainless steel, brass, copper, is there a best one?
Yeah, so kind of next to gold, you know, on average a person won't buy gold, so they'll more revert to the stainless steel material. And then in terms of the rings, we use brass because those are also durable. We also have stainless steel for the rings.
Okay.
So, yeah.
They don't change?
No, they don't change. We do have options that change at a lower cost, but we inform the customers which is which.
Okay.
So our brass material ones and the stainless steel, they don't change.
None.
So, you know, like sterling silver, after a while they get duller, you use the jewelry cloth and shine it. It's the same with the brass material. But for the most part, they don't change.
All right.
This is red brass. This is
the whole of this line, it would be
red brass, yes. This is stainless steel material. This is yellow brass. brass, yellow brass, red brass here, yellow brass coming down.
What's the difference with it when you say yellow and...
It's just the color. So this, if you look, it have more like a reddish look, and then this one more have a yellow tone look.
Okay, so you don't have any copper here?
No copper is shown. Not hand pieces. So we use gemstones and stainless steel and durable threading.
Are these specific to male, female, or they're unisex?
These are unisex. We have both males and females that wear them.
I like the two of them.
Thank you.
You made these yourself?
Everything is handmade by myself.
You alone?
Me alone.
Wow. So how long would, say, this very intricate piece take this one at the top here?
Probably a minute or two.
A minute?
Yes, the rings don't take so long to make.
Hold on, work with me here. It can just come out, right?
Yes, it can.
Oh, I see what you do.
Yeah, so you just kind of...
Yeah, but this is quite intricate, you know.
It is,
but
you know, after a while when you practice and you get used to something, it doesn't take as long.
I'm sorry you never bring one and just show me how you make it in one on television, but I mean, it's so quick. And the same thing with these, right?
Yes, it's the same.
So you don't have... Well, it's hard. I kind of asked the question already. I like them. I like them. Give me an idea. You don't have to be specific of your cost here. So give me an idea of the lowest and the highest.
So we have rings. They start as low as $1,000 for one. We also have specials occasionally, so they can look out on our page. But we have rings for $1,000. We have earrings starting at like $1,500. We have our neck pieces at like $2,500, $3,000. We have more earring options that start at $1,500.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could see this here, but she has smaller earrings here. So this is what? Brass, copper, what is that?
So that is brass and stainless steel at the top.
Work with my steel garnet, love it.
That's stainless steel completely.
And it's the same?
The stainless steel for the tops, and then we weave the bottom part with...
So you don't do anything like silver? You don't do silver at all?
I'm going to eventually dabble in it, but I'm not there as yet. We're for Devon House, shop number 15, Devon House. We're at the Things Jamaican store at the Norman Manley International Airport. We're at Sun Island, Jamaica seasonally. And yeah, we're looking to go into more stores. We're working on Fontana. We're there before.
But you're all over?
Yes, we're all over.
Congrats. And
it's got to be a southern accent, like... It's a wee bit obnoxious.
I can't lie, I'm not liking this Manchester accent. People talk to me, I'm just start laughing.
Like proper deep Welsh. Like, you know, the valley. Can't be doing with it.
That's good, Brummy. Yeah. Can't really understand it.
I went to school with a Welsh girl who was a bit of a dick, and it just kind of stayed with me.
Me for me.
Brum.
Got a bit of a long tone to it.
They just sound like they're talking down their nose. Just, I don't know, I don't like it. It's irritating. Newcastle. Can't understand it either. I'm like, you're not even speaking English at this point.
An asylum seeker has now been arrested on suspicion of stabbing several passers-by in southern Austria.
Yes, it appeared to be a frenzied attack, and it's left a 14-year-old boy dead and injured 4 or 5 others.
Yeah, indeed. 2 others are remaining in hospital, and the suspect, who is yet to be named, has since been arrested. Just for a little bit of context, it of course comes just a couple of days after an Afghan asylum seeker, a failed Afghan asylum seeker who was known to police, killed at least 2 people in Munich and injured several others by driving a car through a crowd of people. And it also comes, doesn't it, just a couple of days after J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, warned Europe about this exact thing. So, should we get the thoughts now of former police detective Peter? Impression, really. I mean, I'll be honest with you about what mine was. Here we go again, Peter.
On a cold, hard mortuary slab lies the body of a 14-year-old child who was somebody's much-loved son, grandson, sibling, best friend in the world, classmate, and that young child will never be seen again. In neighbouring Germany, in another mortuary, lies the body of a young mother and her 2-year-old child. These people, all killed, and many, many others seriously injured by horrendous murdering monsters who, quite frankly, in my opinion, should not have been anywhere near Europe, but should have been back in the countries that they originated from.
And inquisitive animals. There's 2 of them. Like it or not, Londoners are forced to share their streets, public transport and backyards with foxes. It's a nuisance for Nick Norris, who says they have littered his garden with excrements, waste, bad smells, and even attacked his dog.
Scratched and bitten a snout. So £200 later at the vets, and it's just not right.
Nick has called in Bill Roach, who offers non-lethal fox control. For €2,000 he installed this fence to prevent them from returning. He says it is the only sustainable solution.
They're very territorial. Once the territory opens up, it will cause foxes from far and wide to come in.
In England, it is not illegal to kill foxes, and some services even promote using snipers, a controversial practice. In the city, a fox's life expectancy is 4 years less than in the wild. This association receives up to 8 calls a day to rescue the injured.
We have Gump in here. We're watching him on and we're giving him antibiotics. Ellie, she only came in last night. She has a wound on her back.
They care for more than 1,200 foxes every year, but say the greatest challenge is combating negative perceptions.
For over 150 years, people don't need to be scared of foxes. What foxes will do, their remit is to run away from you.
Senegal and Somalia. Despite the uncertainty, Okafor remains optimistic.
So right now what we're doing is just taking advantage of the other platforms that we have. So Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, we're also promoting on those platforms as well. The good thing about being on TikTok is that I was able to at least educate myself about how to market on social media. So that knowledge that I got, thanks to the resources that they had for us sellers, I can also take that same knowledge and apply it to other platforms.
The debate over TikTok's future in the US is still unfolding, but its impact on African businesses is undeniable. Entrepreneurs are now focused on diversifying strategies to ensure long-term success beyond TikTok.
The deficit exceeded $300 million according to the country's central bank in August 2024. But one innovator is leading the charge for import substitution in the country's footwear industry by transforming cowtail into durable shoe brushes. Our correspondent has this report.
Shoe brushes are commonly essential for maintaining footwear. Except these everyday tools here are unique. They are made from cowtail hair.
This started